Love made me hand over my car keys to my man, but curiosity made me turn on the tracker because something about that job interview story just didn't sit right with me. Turns out, I wasn't helping him chase a career, I was helping him meet someone else. His new lover, I guess. Welcome to Raw Reddit Tales. Subscribe to keep getting the spiciest stories online. You know that uneasy feeling when everything looks normal, but deep down something feels off? That's exactly how I felt that morning. He came to my apartment looking all serious, dressed up in a button-down shirt I'd never seen him wear before. He said he had a job interview on the other side of town and that his car was acting up. He asked if he could borrow mine, just for a few hours. Of course, I said yes. He was my man. We'd been together almost 2 years and I wanted to see him doing better for himself. Still, something about it didn't sit right. Maybe it was the way he kept looking at his phone while talking to me. Maybe it was the hesitation when I asked what company he was interviewing with. A marketing firm, he said quickly, not even naming it. My gut whispered, he's lying. But I pushed that thought away. I didn't want to be that kind of girlfriend. Paranoid, controlling, insecure. Before handing him the keys, I casually opened the app for my car's GPS tracker. One I'd installed months ago after a coworker's car got stolen. I didn't tell him. I just smiled, kissed him goodbye, and watched him drive off. The moment he turned the corner, I opened the tracker. For the first 15 minutes, everything seemed fine. He was heading toward the part of town where most offices are located. But then, his route changed. He took a left turn toward a residential area I didn't recognize. My heart started pounding. I told myself maybe he got lost, maybe he was early and killing time. But when he stopped the car outside a random house and stayed there for over an hour, that's when panic hit me. He wasn't at a job interview. He was somewhere else, doing something else. I sat staring at the map, my hands shaking. Should I call him? Should I drive there? I tried to stay calm, but my mind was already running wild. Every possible scenario flashed through my head. Maybe he was meeting a friend, maybe it was a job interview, but in someone's home? That didn't make sense. I zoomed in on the map again. It was a quiet street, mostly residential, no sign of offices or companies nearby. I waited another 10 minutes, hoping I'd see the car move again. It didn't. I finally called him. He didn't pick up. The second time, he answered, his voice oddly calm. Hey babe, I'm in the interview. Can't talk long. My stomach dropped. The interview? In a residential neighborhood? I asked, what company is it again? He paused. Too long. Then he mumbled, it's a startup. They rent office space in a house. I could tell he was making it up as he spoke. I played along, pretending to believe him. Oh, okay, that's cool. Good luck, babe. I hung up and stared at my screen. I wasn't sure if I was more angry or heartbroken. The GPS showed he hadn't moved an inch. A few minutes later, I saw a small notification. He'd turned off his phone's location sharing. My chest tightened. That was it. He was hiding something. I grabbed my keys and decided to go see for myself. The drive felt endless, even though it was only 20 minutes away. Every red light felt like torture. When I finally turned onto the street, I slowed down, scanning house numbers until I found my car parked discreetly behind a tall hedge. He tried to hide it. That's when I saw him, walking out of the house, laughing, holding hands with a woman I'd never seen before. She looked comfortable, familiar with him. My throat went dry. I froze behind the wheel, just watching. It felt like someone had sucked the air out of my lungs. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just sat there, gripping my steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. After a few minutes, I saw them hug, and she kissed him. That's when it hit me. The job interview was nothing but a cover-up. I snapped a photo with my phone, just in case I needed proof later. I drove off before he could notice me, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. Every second behind the wheel felt like a battle between fury and heartbreak. I didn't even know where I was going. I just needed to get away before I did something I'd regret. The photo was sitting right there on my phone, undeniable proof of what I'd seen, but I couldn't even look at it yet. It felt like staring at a scar while it was still bleeding. When I finally got home, I sat on my couch in total silence. My phone kept buzzing, text after text from him. Interview went great, babe. Then? On my way home soon. I stared at the screen in disbelief. He was still lying even after being with her. That hurt more than anything. I didn't respond. I wanted him to stew in silence, to wonder what I knew. I spent the next hour pacing the apartment, thinking of how to handle it. Should I confront him right away? Should I wait until he got home and pretend like nothing happened? I even thought about sending the picture to him with no message, just to watch his world crash. But part of me still wanted to hear what kind of lie he'd try to sell me next. So I waited. When he finally walked through the door, he looked tired but smug, like he'd just aced something big. Babe, he said, putting his arms around me. Interview went so well. I think they'll hire me. I stepped back, staring at him. Really? At that house on Maple Drive? His smile faltered. What house? He asked too quickly. I tilted my head, keeping my voice calm. The one where you parked my car behind the hedge. The one where that woman kissed you. The color drained from his face. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. I could see the panic flickering in his eyes, the gears turning, searching for an escape. You followed me, he finally said, trying to sound angry instead of guilty. I laughed bitterly. No, I tracked you. Remember that GPS I told you about when I bought the car? Yeah, that one. He just stood there, caught between shock and shame. He stammered, trying to piece together a lie, but every word that came out made it worse. It's not what it looks like, he said. The classic line. I actually laughed. That ugly, bitter kind of laugh that comes from disbelief. Really? Because it looked exactly like you kissing another woman outside some random house. Enlighten me. What part of that looks innocent? He rubbed his forehead like he was the one under stress. She's just a friend. I was helping her with something. Helping her? I repeated, crossing my arms. With your tongue? His face twisted with guilt and frustration, but he kept trying to gaslight me. You're blowing this out of proportion. You shouldn't have tracked me. That's invasive. That was it. He flipped the script, trying to make me the problem. I felt my anger boil over. You lied, took my car, and met another woman, and you think I'm the one crossing lines? I could feel my voice shaking. You told me you were trying to change, that you wanted to get your life together. You even made me believe in you. Again. He dropped his head, muttering, I didn't mean for you to find out like this. I froze. That sentence, I didn't mean for you to find out like this, confirmed everything. He wasn't even denying it anymore. He just hated being caught. So you were cheating, I said quietly. He didn't answer, but his silence said enough. I felt my heart split open right there. The man I'd been defending to everyone, my friends, my mom, even myself, was exactly what they warned me about. I walked over, grabbed my spare car key from the counter, and held out my hand. Leave my house. Now. He tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. Don't, I said. You don't get to touch me anymore. He mumbled something about me overreacting, but I ignored him. When the door finally closed behind him, the silence was deafening. I stood there for a long time, staring at the doorknob, realizing how easily love can blind you, until truth rips that blindness away. I thought I was done crying. I was wrong. That night, I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him walking out of that house, holding another woman's hand like she was the only one who mattered. The betrayal stung worse because of how calm he'd looked, like cheating on me was just another part of his day. I kept asking myself how long it had been going on. Was she new? Did he take my car to see her before? How many times had he lied saying he was out with friends or running errands? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that the job interview story wasn't his first lie. It was just the one I caught. By morning, I decided I wasn't going to let him manipulate the story. If he wanted to lie, fine. I had proof. I posted a vague message on my private Snapchat, something like, funny how people pretend to chase jobs when they're really chasing other people. Within minutes, one of his friends texted me. What happened? Apparently, he'd already told them I snapped on him for no reason. Typical. I sent his friend the photo, him and that woman outside the house. Then I added, next time he borrows your car, make sure it's not for an interview either. Word spread faster than I expected. Suddenly, my phone was blowing up with people asking what happened. I didn't reply. I didn't need to explain myself. The truth had already started speaking for me. That afternoon, he showed up at my apartment again, banging on the door. You had no right to post that, he yelled through the wood. I opened it just enough to look him in the eye. No right? You lied, used me, and humiliated me. I had every right. He tried to plead this time, saying it was a mistake, that he didn't love her, that it just happened. But I could see through him now. Every word sounded rehearsed, like something he'd said before, maybe even to her. I told him to leave again, and this time, I meant it. Watching him walk away didn't hurt like it did before. It almost felt freeing. Still, a part of me wondered, if I hadn't tracked him, would he still be lying to me right now? The days that followed were strange. My apartment felt quieter, emptier, but in a way, it was peaceful. No constant checking my phone, no wondering when he'd text back, no lies disguised as sweet messages. It was just me and the truth now. But the truth has a way of echoing, you know? Every time my phone buzzed, my chest tightened, half expecting his name to pop up again. And it did. 3 days later, he texted, "Can we talk? Please. I need to explain." I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but another part, the one that still remembered the good moments, wanted answers. I agreed to meet him at a coffee shop, somewhere public where I could walk away easily if things got ugly. He showed up looking rough, unshaven, tired, clearly stressed. I expected guilt, maybe even shame, but instead he started off with excuses. "You don't understand," he said. "That woman, she's just someone I've known for a while. We got close when things between us got weird. I didn't plan to cheat." I let him talk, not because I believed him, but because I wanted to hear just how far he'd go to twist reality. He talked about feeling pressured, about how I was too focused on the future. I couldn't believe it. He was blaming me. I finally cut him off. "So you cheated because I had plans? Because I wanted better for us?" He went quiet. That silence told me everything. I pulled out my phone, opened the GPS history, and slid it across the table. "This is every place you've been with my car in the past month," I said. "Do you want to know how many times that same address shows up?" He looked down, his lips parted, then shut again. No words, no excuses left, just guilt. I took a deep breath and said, "You didn't just lose my trust, you lost your chance to ever be loved like that again." Then I got up, left my coffee untouched, and walked out. Outside, it felt like the world had shifted. For the first time, I wasn't angry. I was finally done. Walking out of that coffee shop felt like walking out of a prison. I didn't even know I'd built for myself. For months, I'd been holding on to the idea of who he used to be, not the liar sitting in front of me. Love had blinded me to every red flag, every small lie that I brushed off as not a big deal. But that day, I finally saw things for what they were. When I got home, I sat in my car for a while, staring at the steering wheel. The same car he'd used to betray me. The GPS app was still open on my phone, that tiny blinking dot marking the last place he'd been before the coffee shop. It hit me how something meant for safety had ended up saving me from a lifetime of deception. I deleted his number, blocked him on everything. Then I took the photo, the one I'd used as proof, and moved it to a private folder. Not because I wanted to keep the memory, but because I wanted to remember how strong I'd been the moment I chose truth over love. Over the next few weeks, I started focusing on myself. I picked up extra shifts at work, went out with friends I hadn't seen in months, and even took a solo road trip just to clear my head. Somewhere along that drive, with the music loud and the windows down, I realized I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. A few people tried to tell me I'd gone too far, that tracking him was wrong, but I disagree. Sometimes protecting your peace requires proof, and sometimes love makes you forget to protect yourself until you're forced to. Looking back now, I'm grateful I trusted my instincts. That GPS tracker didn't just expose his lies, it exposed how easily I had ignored my own intuition for someone who didn't deserve it. If there's one thing I learned from this, it's that loyalty without honesty isn't love. It's self-destruction dressed as devotion. So, what would you have done? Would you have trusted him or turned on the tracker too? The end. Please like and subscribe for more interesting stories like this.